This is our presentation on enhancing performance in advertisement dynamics. So for our problem, we have chosen over-advertising, which is the excessive and intrusive promotion of products or services. This leads to customer fatigue, environmental degradation, and societal harm. We have found that the average American is exposed to over 5,000 advertisements per day, resulting in information overload and diminished effectiveness of marketing efforts. This phenomenon not only contributes to mental health issues such as anxiety and stress, but it also fosters an unsustainable consumption pattern and exacerbates environmental degradation through excessive resource extraction and waste generation. Our rationale behind this is that over advertising is of paramount importance to both marketing professionals and society at large. From a societal perspective, incessant exposure to advertisements can lead to cognitive overload, consumer cynicism, and dissatisfaction with materialistic value. There are also professional concerns, such as the oversaturation of advertising spaces that diminishes the effectiveness of marketing campaigns and erodes the consumer's trust in brands. Moreover, from an ethical standpoint, advertisers have a responsibility to promote products and services in a manner that respects consumer autonomy, fosters informed decision making, and contributes positively to the societal well being. So, for the vision, we have found that there's a lot of unchecked over advertising, which bombards individuals with an overwhelming barrage of commercial messaging, which leads to consumer fatigue, environmental degradation, and societal disengagement. Well, this can be solved with collaborative and ethical marketing, such as the promotion of ethical marketing practices to curb over advertising and create a more balanced, respectful landscape aligned with sustainable development goals. Then, to measure this, we have found several metrics, such as advertisement exposure levels. We can quantify the frequency and intensity of advertisement exposure across differing media channels. Consumer perception can be measured through surveys and sentiment analysis to gauge their public attitude towards these practices and the impact on their well being. Their environmental footprint can be assessed from the advertising activities such as carbon emissions, resource consumption, energy consumption, and waste generation. We can also look into regulatory compliance and evaluate their adherence to advertising regulations and guidelines that are aimed at protecting consumers and promote fair competition. Economic efficiency can be analyzed through cost effectiveness of advertising expenditures relative to their return on investment and market penetration. We can also measure societal well being by measuring the societal implications of over advertisement on people's mental health, their social cohesion, and cultural value.
We came up with a few research questions during our analysis. The first, regarding consumer perception, is to what degree are advertisements affecting consumer perception of service quality? Our second was about disruptive marketing strategies, or to what degree are disruptive marketing strategies contributing to reduced consumer retention and click-off rate? And our third, about deceptive marketing tactics, or what eventually comes as a result of aggressive or deceptive marketing tactics, and to what degree does it affect brand consumer trust? Our hypotheses about these were about over advertising, that it is driven by the pursuit of profit maximization and market dominance, leading to adverse societal and environmental consequences. Our second hypothesis was about targeted advertising strategies. Businesses can optimize marketing efforts while minimizing negative externalities by adopting targeted advertising strategies, promoting transparency and authenticity, and leveraging emerging technologies. A few charts we made about this. The first being the advertisement's effect on time. This chart represents the extra time taken navigating websites due to the amount of advertising. It shows that all sites took additional time to navigate to the original motive for click-through due to oversaturation of advertisements. Our next chart has the purchasing algorithm. It represents the different points at which consumers are advertised to. It highlights the impact of aggressive marketing strategies on consumer opinion and brand trust.
So we came up with several possible solutions for this issue. One was the use of ad blocking software, which is software that can be installed on a user's device that will block ads from being displayed on web pages. Another is there are certain browser extensions, which are just add-ons for browsers that will block ads specific to a particular web browser. Another way to solve this was the use of a virtual protected network with ad blocking features. And these will block ads at network level.
The solution that we went with was ad blocking software. Our decision was made after considering ethical, social, professional, and economic factors, as well as guidance from professional organizations in the field. This solution offers a balance between effectiveness, ease of use, and compatibility with various devices and browsers.
As for our specific justifications for this use case, it begins with the ethical considerations of using an ad blocker, as it involves a consumer's right to a free and open internet and the right to be protected from intrusive ads. Next, there are the social considerations of using ad blockers, which can improve the online experience for users by reducing distractions and improving page loading times. Another important consideration is the ability of ad blocking software to increase productivity by reducing distractions. And finally, by blocking ads, it impacts the revenue of websites, but it also reduces the data usage, potentially reduces internet costs at corporate scale. But advertisements should be targeted towards consumers and directed towards the correct audience. Until this is implemented, consumers should use ad blocking software. For Section 4 on the resource and leadership requirements for implementation, it begins with our required materials here. The regulatory framework is a series of legislative amendments and enforcement mechanisms to regulate advertising practices. Our educational resources involve the development of education materials, workshops, and campaigns to promote media literacy and responsible consumption. Technological tools can be summarized as the integration of data analytics, AI, and blockchain technology to enhance advertising targeting, transparency, and accountability. Finally, sustainable practices include the adoption of sustainable materials and production processes for advertising materials and campaigns. For our technology resources, it all begins with the leveraging of big data analytics to optimize advertising, targeting, and personalize content delivery. Next, we need to utilize AI algorithms for predictive modeling, trend analysis, and consumer behavior prediction. Finally, we will be implementing blockchain solutions for transparent and verifiable advertising transactions, which enhances trust and accountability. For our people and leaders, it begins with advertising executives who are in charge of large team leadership and strategic decision-making in implementing responsible advertising practices. Our marketing professionals head the execution of targeted advertising campaigns and consumer engagement strategies. The regulatory authorities oversee and enforce the advertising regulations to ensure compliance and accountability. And our educators and advocates develop and disseminate media literacy programs and advocacy campaigns to empower consumers. Our collaborative framework begins with the collaboration between advertising professionals, policymakers, educators, environmentalists, and consumer advocates to develop holistic solutions. Then, stakeholders must work to engage with industry associations, NGOs, academia, and government agencies to mobilize support and resources for implementation. And the improvements are continually made through iterative monitoring and evaluation of interventions to assess effectiveness, identify gaps, and refine strategies for sustainable impact. In conclusion, the over-advertising poses significant challenges to both marketing professionals and society, undermining consumer well-being, eroding trust in brands, and contributing to environmental degradation. By adopting ethical marketing practices, promoting consumer empowerment, and fostering sustainable consumption patterns, stakeholders can work towards mitigating the negative impacts of over-advertising and creating a more balanced and responsible advertising ecosystem. Moreover, greater regulation and oversight are needed to ensure that advertising practices align with societal values and contribute positively to the common good. Efforts to positively address this issue are essential for preserving the integrity of the marketing profession, safeguarding consumer interests, and promoting a more sustainable and equitable society. Thank you.